You guys are amazing. We've hit 100 subscribers, and I want to thank you for being a part of this journey. Let's get into the best drills for advanced strafing and slide firing. I really do mean it, you guys, when I say that you are amazing. Thank you so much for becoming part of the family and growing this channel, because we have finally hit 100 subscribers. Also, if you are new to this channel and haven't seen the Strafing Basics video, I recommend you go and watch it first. It's up in the top right hand corner. It's one of the first videos and is also one of the most useful videos I have ever produced. In fact, if you want to get regular updates for when I post more helpful tips and tricks content, make sure that you subscribe, and if you want to be notified immediately, hit that bell after you subscribe and you'll be covered to know when I unleash another video. Also, something as simple as smashing that like button helps out smaller content creators like myself, so go ahead and keep that up. Really does help us. Just as a recap, strafing is moving side to side so you don't get hit while aiming at your target. If you've implemented what I've taught you in my aforementioned strafing video, then your game has most likely improved, but you want to pull off the 1v2s and 1v3s like what you've been seeing in today's gameplay. Lucky for you, I have drills to help you practice for these exact scenarios. Before going into these drills, you're going to want to adjust your button layout so that your crouch is your right thumbstick click or R3 and your jump is your left thumbstick click or L3. You also want to enable auto sprint in your controller settings. Doing these things and getting used to them will help your strafe game out a lot. Okay, or you can get a scuff controller that will allow you to use back paddle buttons to do these things, but if not, then just keep with the button layout that I showed you earlier. First things to note while going into these drills is that each gun has a strafe speed. As an example, I have some footage here with me strafing while holding a pistol, SMG, assault rifle, and sniper, which is really the same as an LMG in all regards. You'll notice that each weapon class affects your strafe speed differently and thus makes each strategy with the strafe a bit different. But the base of it is that the faster the strafe, the quicker you can change direction, and the slower the strafe, the longer you should wait before changing your direction. These principles also apply to the intermediate portion of our strafe guide when we start talking about crouching during our strafe and even slide shooting, which will be at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. You can do this at any of the dummy stations in firing range. You do not have to do it at a specific one. Don't listen to YouTubers that tell you that you should. But you're going to want to be as far back as I am on the platform right here, between the level 3 mag and the level 4 backpack. Unless you mostly pick fights in buildings such as the ones located at Fragment, this distance is going to be your typical distance with an enemy while using most weapons. You want to make sure that your strafe pattern is not predictable, but still be wide enough where you aren't staying within their aim box. You want to make them move their crosshairs as much as possible. So as a baseline for your strafe pattern, you want to do line touches between the attachments that I mentioned, such as the level 3 mag, and the equipment side, such as the level 4 backpack, just going back and forth between them. Now, without shooting, you want to get a rhythm with your sight staying on your target the whole time. For about 4 to 5 back and forths, or 8 to 10 total stretches of strafe, remember that whichever gun class you are choosing to do this with, your strafe speeds will change with a different class, and that you should practice within all 4 strafing speed classes. It's the best way you're going to actually see improvement. After you feel like you did this pretty well, you are going to add the bounce into your strafe by crouching at the end of each stretch and then popping back up. You're going to go down to the right, and once you hit the end of the strafe in that direction of your crouch, you're going to change direction and stand back up. Then you go back down and hit the end of the strafing on the other direction and pop right back up once again. This is all done without shooting so that your thumbs can get a feel for popping you down and up while also moving side to side. A lot of pros will use scuff controllers or modified controllers to give them an advantage with not having to click and move with the same finger at the same time. But your gaming abilities will greatly increase as long as you are practicing these techniques I am showing you right now. Once you get a hang of strafing while aiming at your target without shooting, you can go ahead and start seeing how your recoil control can be implemented with whichever guns you seem to end up with most often. For me lately, it's been the RE45 and the flatline, but I'm going to show you a visual of a more advanced version. These moving targets in the back are pretty easy to hit if you're standing still and at this distance, but if you strafe back and forth while aiming at them, it gets pretty difficult if you are doing it properly. The best practice you could do is if you have a friend run around in the arena or back and forth while you shoot at them over and over and over again. So if you've got that die-hard buddy of yours that's willing to do that with them, get them in on this. Little side note plug-in, if you are wanting to get better with your recoil on all types of your weapons, please go and watch the best 7-phase aiming course. I have a link for it up in the top right hand corner. It will help you with every weapon class, I promise. All the way from shotguns to snipers. You are just going to absolutely shred after taking that class. Now moving into the final drill, there is a slide and shoot tactic that you want to always have in your back pocket. For when you pop around a corner or come up around somebody that you weren't expecting to be there, you want to be able to just slide in and get them, right? So without this tactic, your 1v1s through 1v3s will forever be harder to win. So let's try to make it to where those 1v1s through 1v3s are easier. So just to show you how I practice this tactic, again, as always, you can do this with pretty much any of your preferred weapons, but something with a wide spread like a shotgun, or that's full automatic like most ARs in the game, you will want to have the best results by using those types of weapons. You want to start all the way either on the east or west end of firing range, facing perpendicular to the weapon stations. You might call it something else, I call it east and west, just go with it. To start, you want to run. You should already have auto run enabled, and then you want to slide in front of the dummies by pressing crouch, but not ADSing until your general crosshairs are around them. So if your hipfire crosshairs are aimed at the dummy, that is when you want to start ADSing. ADS stands for aim down sights, in case you're a simp and don't know that. Whether you shoot or not, this is going to be the best drill you can do to help with this tactic. If you want more slide time for this drill, you can also run up these platforms and then slide at an angle and fire at your targets at an angled slide instead of a full perpendicular slide. I hope that you guys see the potential in these tips and tricks and utilize them to their absolute max potential. And if you want to see any other videos of how I use these tips and tricks in actual gameplay, click the link up there in the top right hand corner, and to subscribe, click the link down there in the bottom right hand corner, and I will see you guys in the arena.